Tell us a little bit about your daylight savings bill. Why did you sponsor it, and what's been the reaction from the public so far?
Yeah, so this one was a bit of a surprise. The idea seemed kind of non-controversial. A couple of constituents had just been complaining to me about, why are we still doing this? You know, spring forward, fall back an hour in the fall, and what is the purpose exactly? Why did it get started, and why are we still doing it? So I started looking into it, and I found that beyond just being an annoyance, for most people it only takes a few minutes to set the clock. But I found out that for a lot of people it's much more of a headache, and for some people it's actually a health issue. So for example, there have been a number of studies done on the effects of changing the clocks twice a year. One biggie is that it messes with your circadian rhythms, that is your internal clock. And for some people they adjust in a day or two, but for some it can take several weeks. In the meantime, the risk of heart attacks goes up 10% on that Monday and Tuesday, in the spring when we spring forward and lose an hour of sleep the night before. And then on top of that, car accidents are at an increase those first few days after the time change, and accidents at work and more severity in the accidents at work. So I thought, wow, this really is a kind of a bigger issue than I thought. I reached out to the farmers to see if they had an opinion on it in Skagit County and Snohomish County, and the ones I reached out to said, no, I don't care. And then I contacted the Washington State Farm Bureau, and they also said, we don't have a position on this. So I just threw the bill out there and thought, well, let's see who will come forward to oppose or support it. We'll all learn from the discussion. And whoo, I couldn't believe the amount of attention that was given to that bill. Frankly, it cracked me up because I have about 20 other bills on life, liberty, property rights, Growth Management Act, giving rights back to the property owners, and gun rights, and all these big issues, right? But no, it's the daylight savings bill that I got 12 or 13 different interviews on, and turns out that about 3 out of 4 of the people who contacted us said they would love to see the end of daylight savings time. And most of them weren't sure whether they preferred daylight savings time year-round or Pacific Standard Time year-round. Their big beef was just the switching of the clocks, so they didn't care which way we chose. Some people in that group of 75% did say that they would prefer daylight savings time year-round, feeling that they much preferred the extra light after work rather than before work.
You've been contacted by constituents concerned about Initiative 594. What's the status of any corrections to that initiative?
Well, that's a great question. There have been a number of bills proposed that address certain aspects, certain problems with I-594. For example, my colleague Luann Van Werven had a bill that would address the concerns of museums being forced to return loaned guns back to their owners because they were worried about the complications that I-594 had put in place for them. So there are these little bills, but there's also a big bill that would address all of those concerns, and it actually is a full repeal bill. It would completely overturn I-594. That one is called House Bill 1245, and if you feel strongly about it, you can contact the chair of the Judiciary Committee, because right now that bill is stuck in that committee. It's not moving forward. It hasn't received a hearing. There's another bill that would send the Initiative 594 back to the voters for another vote, because there are so many people who've contacted our offices saying, geez, if I'd realized the implications of this bill and how it was going to affect my business. These are security guards, police, people who make holsters, for example, people who make little attachments for guns. I mean, all kinds of people are being impacted. And so now they're more inclined to vote no on that bill, so they'd like a second go at it. That bill is actually number 1886. So I hope that you'll contact the legislators and let us know where you stand on these issues.